The Marsdens hired me to babysit their twin daughters for a weekend while they attended a funeral in another state. Good money, $300 for 2 nights. The girls, Lily and Rose, were 6 years old and well-behaved. The house was a big Victorian on Sycamore Lane, the kind with too many rooms and a basement that smelled like wet stone. Mrs. Marsden walked me through everything. Bedtime at 8. No sugar after 6. Emergency numbers on the fridge. Then, almost as an afterthought, she pointed to a cabinet in the living room. There's a collection of VHS tapes in there. The girls love watching them before bed. Just pick one with a colored label, the ones with white labels are my husband's old work recordings. Boring stuff. Don't bother with those. I nodded and didn't think about it again until that first evening. After dinner, Lily tugged on my sleeve. Can we watch a tape? The one with the purple sticker. I opened the cabinet. There were maybe 40 tapes, neatly organized. Some had colored dot stickers, red, blue, green, purple. Others had plain white labels with dates written in black marker. I grabbed the purple one and popped it into the old VCR hooked up beneath the TV. It was a homemade cartoon. Crude but charming, hand-drawn characters dancing and singing nursery rhymes. The girls giggled and sang along. When it ended, they went to bed without complaint. Easy night. I stayed up watching TV, and around midnight, I got curious. I went back to the cabinet and looked at the white label tapes. The dates went back years. 2003, 2007. 2011, 2019. I picked one at random, June 14, 2011, and slid it into the VCR. Static. Then a shot of the living room I was sitting in. The camera was placed where the bookshelf currently stood, angled to capture the couch and most of the room. The footage was in night vision, that sickly green glow. For about 2 minutes, nothing happened. Just the empty room, the clock on the wall reading 1:15 a.m. Then a figure walked into frame. It was a woman. Young, maybe early 20s. She was sitting on the same couch I was on, reading a book. A babysitter. She looked relaxed, unaware of the camera. I watched her read for a few minutes, feeling increasingly uneasy. Why was someone filming the babysitter? Then the footage cut. When it resumed, the timestamp had jumped to 3:33 a.m. The babysitter was asleep on the couch. And standing in the doorway to the hall was a figure. Tall. Thin. Completely still. It was hard to make out features in the night vision, but it looked like a man. He stood there watching her sleep for what the timestamp said was 11 minutes. Then he stepped closer. And closer. Until he was standing directly over her. He reached down and, the tape cut to static. My hands were shaking. I ejected the tape and grabbed another. August 2, 2007. Same setup. Same living room, night vision. A different babysitter, a teenage boy this time, playing a handheld game on the couch. Same progression. He falls asleep. The figure appears in the doorway. Watches. Approaches. The tape cuts. I pulled out a third. December 19, 2019. A woman, maybe 30, wrapping Christmas presents on the floor. She doesn't fall asleep this time. Instead, she freezes. Looks up slowly toward the hallway. She sees something. Her mouth opens, but there's no audio on these tapes. She scrambles backward, knocking into the coffee table. The figure enters the frame, and this time it moves fast. The tape cuts to static, but not before I saw the figure's face. It was Mr. Marsden. Or something that looked like him. The proportions were wrong. The limbs too long, the neck slightly extended, the smile too wide. But the face was his. I should have grabbed the girls and left. That's what a rational person would do. But I couldn't move. I was sitting on that couch, in that room, and I realized the cabinet had been left unlocked. Mrs. Marsden told me not to watch the white tapes. Not because they were boring. Because she knew what was on them. And she still left them there. I counted the white-labeled tapes. There were 14. 14 different dates spanning 20 years. I looked at the most recent one. The date read, February 8, 2026. 2 days ago. But the Marsdens told me they hadn't had a babysitter in months. My blood went cold. I ejected the tape and shoved it into the VCR. Static. Then the living room. Night vision. The camera angle was different this time, it was filming from the ceiling, looking straight down. I could see the couch. I could see the coffee table. I could see the top of someone's head. Someone with my hair color. Wearing my hoodie. The tape was recording right now. I looked up at the ceiling. In the corner, where the crown molding met the wall, there was a tiny hole. A lens. A red light I'd mistaken for a smoke detector. I heard the basement door creak open. I ran. I grabbed both girls from their beds, one under each arm, and I went out the front door in my socks. I drove to the police station and told them everything. They sent officers to the house. They found the camera. They found the cabinet. They found the basement. What they found in the basement, they wouldn't tell me. The Marsdens never came back from the funeral. The police said there was no funeral. No dead relative. The house on Sycamore Lane was condemned 2 weeks later. I still have nightmares about that last tape. Not because of what I saw. Because of the timestamp. The tape I watched, the one filming me in real time, had started recording at 6 p.m. The moment I'd arrived. But there was something else on the timestamp I didn't notice until later, when I was giving my statement and describing every detail I could remember. The camera wasn't the only thing that had been watching me since 6. In the corner of the frame, barely visible in the night vision, the basement door was already open. It had been open the entire time. And if I looked closely, and I wish I hadn't, there was a shape in the darkness beyond it. Standing still. Waiting. Smiling that too wide smile. It had been watching me for 6 hours before I ever touched those tapes. I sometimes wonder if the other babysitters on those tapes made it out. I want to believe they did. But there were 14 tapes and no missing persons reports. Then again, who reports a missing babysitter when the family who hired them doesn't exist?